Movies and Martinis celebrates women and diversity in the entertainment world
by ranking trending movies, shows, and books.
with two completely different perspectives and ranked by delicious martinis.
Listen to find out how many martinis we felt it was worth.
And learn about the women who have written, performed, and/or directed in everything we have rated.
A new episode is available every Thursday on your favorite podcast platform and YouTube. Hey guys. Welcome to our podcast. I'm Priya.
And I'm Mercy. Howdy, everybody. Hey, Priya, how are you?
Good. How you doing?
Good, really good. How is life treating you this month?
It's fine. It's the fall. It's not officially fall, but it's the fall, and that's okay.
It is. It already feels like fall.
By the time this episode comes out, it should be officially the fall. So I regret.
September 22nd. So yes.
Yeah,
we're right starts.
There. Yes, right there.
Yay.
Hey. Okay. So today's episode is our books and martinis episode. And traditionally we're interviewing authors for this episode, but we thought we should mix it up a little bit because this series is huge right now. The author is making tons of money. She's like on the top bestseller list everywhere. And of course, we would love to interview her, Sarah J. Maas.
Yay!
But she's like next level.
She's not here yet.
Manifest her eventually. You know what I mean?
Just gonna say that.
Yes. So this episode is about Sarah J. Maas, the author of A Court of Thorns and Roses, Crescent City, and The Throne of Glass. Okay, which one do you have right there?
So this is the first one.
Okay.
And
so the different covers for it. This one I got from Target, as you could see.
Oh, okay. Yes, I have two. This one.
So you have the second book.
Just received. So I have the first and the second. Read it. On my way to read it.
Okay, great. So
I believe you read all five.
Yes, I read all five. Actually, I skipped there's a Christmas one. I skipped that one.
Okay. Okay.
And I went straight to the hot one. So the last one that came out is
hot. Okay.
Hot. Like so, every book is a little bit more spice, a little bit more spice, a little bit more spice.
No. Okay. So I know there's 5 books. I did a little research. I know you're here the woman that knows everything with it. So I didn't know enough about it. So I did a little bit of research. And I was really impressed with knowing that A Court of Thorns and Roses came out 2015. So it's going to be almost 10 years.
Yep.
And there are 5 books, which are A Court of Mist and Fury, A Court of Wings and Ruin, A Court of Frost and Starlight, and A Court of Silver Flames.
Yes.
So have you read all 5, Priya?
Except for the
which is the Christmas one?
The one before Flames.
So Frost and Starlight?
Yeah, I don't think I read that one. I skipped. Yeah.
Okay.
So in that book, of course, spoiler alert, guys. So in that book, one of the characters has a baby, and I think that book like centers around him. But yeah, and then there's supposed to be a number 6 book coming out, by the way. So there's.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So each book focuses on another character. Like, so the first 2 books are like the same.
So tell me how. Okay. So how does it work?
Okay, so the first 2 books focus on the main characters, Farah,
which are
Farah, Tamlin, and Rhysand. I hope I'm saying it right.
Okay.
And
those are the main characters.
They're more main characters, but those are the 3 primary ones for the first 2 books. And then they start, it's the same like big overarching story for all the books.
Okay.
Like there's war coming. There's a lot of like monsters and things, like there's a lot of stuff happening in the books, but they're love stories you'll find out more about. So Rhysand and so Farah and Tamlin fall in love in book 1,
right?
And Tamlin is so it's like a Beauty and the Beast retelling, and Tamlin is like a beast in the Summer Court. He turns into a beast, so he's a fae character and he turns into a beast. And Farah is forced to live with him because she killed a wolf which was
Very.
Tamlin's friend who had turned wolf. And there's a whole backstory to that because it was set up. She was set up pretty much because they needed somebody to come and release them from a curse. So the wolf
Right.
was sent to find her, for her to release everybody from curse. Very similar to Beauty and the Beast.
Yes.
Anyway, so she's with Tamlin and a lot of stuff happens in the book. And it's a little slow in the first half of book one, but Sarah J. Maas books, traditionally by the end, it's like a banger. Like last 100 pages, you're like, there's so much stuff happening. So what you'll find in the next book is that even though the first book ended, like it sounded like a little bit of a fairy tale, not really. So things are going to unfold in the second book to make you think that Tamlin's not the guy that you thought he was. And there's a whole meme culture on Instagram and TikTok about Tamlin. And his nickname is Tampon.
No. How funny.
Because he ends up being a little bit of a douche. And yes. And then that's where Rhysand comes in. And Rhysand is the Fae King of the Night Court.
Isn't he the one that makes her marry or commit to him?
Yes.
Towards the end of the book, and he's like sneaky and he likes her, but he doesn't touch her.
Yeah. So there's a whole thing. There's a whole thing.
Right.
And there's a reason behind it.
But that's him.
I'm not going to tell you because you need to read it. I don't want to steal the excitement away.
Okay.
But if you look up online, the fan art for these characters, Rhysand is hot. It's hot. And he's a bat guy, so he has wings. And he wears all black, and he has tats, and he has dark hair and violet eyes. Freaking hot.
Okay.
HAWT, hot.
Okay.
So and these characters were brilliantly written. I mean, obviously she wrote them years ago, and just recently, last couple of years, like these books have blown up. So I mean, that gives us, you and I, hope. We put out our books. Hopefully they blow up eventually. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And she also wrote more books. So there's another series called Crescent City. And I have not.
Back up the book a little bit. No, not forward, back. There. I can see it better.
And I have not finished this. I will eventually. I have not finished it. And this is like a 3-book series so far.
Okay.
And the next series is Throne of Glass. So those books I borrowed from the library.
Writes a lot.
She does. But so there's all these conspiracies that the main female characters from these 3 series are connected in some way.
Oh,
yes.
okay.
The 3 of them are connected. So, and if you really get into them and you want to read the other series, you'll start to see the connections. You'll start to see them. I'm gonna leave it at that. There's a lot. It's a lot. It's a rabbit hole. Okay. I'm gonna read a little bit about Sarah J. Maas.
Yes, please. Okay. I want to hear about her.
So J stands for Janet, by the way. Sarah Janet.
I was just gonna ask you. Okay. Would you say she's your favorite author?
No, my favorite author is actually Zoe Draven, and she's not a well-known fantasy author. She wrote the Horde King series, also a very spicy series. I highly recommend it. It was the second spicy series I read after the Blue Alien series, guys. So there's a lot here. Okay. Let's go back to Sarah.
I'm sorry, I interrupted you.
Okay, so Sarah J. Maas is an American fantasy author known for her fantasy series Throne of Glass, A Court of Thorns and Roses, and Crescent City. As of 2024, she has sold over 38 million copies of her book, and her work has been translated into 38 languages. So I don't know about you, but when I'm on a plane, like, so I travel like for work and stuff. I don't know. And you travel obviously for vacation because you're retired, but I don't know if you've seen anybody sitting on a plane reading her books. I see it all the time.
Many times.
Yeah. And I just want to go up and be like, hey, where are you? Where are you? She's also 38 years old. So she's younger than both of us.
Wow. Yeah.
And she lives in New York. She's born in 1986, and she has a family. You can follow her on Instagram and on TikTok and stuff. But she's just like, she's on fire. She's been on GMA and all those shows, Today's Show, talking about her book. And the book I shared in last week's episode, Quicksilver, I had mentioned, let me pull it. Where is it? I have my stack here. Oh, there it goes. So Quicksilver is a good hangover book to Court of Fire Roses. Yeah. So if you've read this, I definitely recommend this. Okay, so let's get a little bit into book. What did you think about book one?
I liked it. I liked it. I really truly liked it. I felt lost. So because it's not my thing, I kind of leave. So I love the whodunit kind of feel, like keeping it simple, but making my head think about who did what and why did they do it and what are they hiding and mystery. And this is different because it kind of reprograms my brain to remember this world and that title and what are you and you're half of this and you're half of that. And so because it's not what I really care for or what I'm about, I have a hard time following through. I'll totally forget. I'm like, what? But in this one, I was able to think back because the ending was so interesting that it made me go back towards the beginning. The whole beginning of the book, I felt like I was just listening to Beauty and the Beast.
Yeah.
That's what I felt.
Yeah.
But I did love it. I like the whole family, her dad, her sisters, which from a little bit of the research I did, her sister Nesta comes on later, and there's a whole thing with her happening, right?
Yes.
And then there's Cassian and Azrael.
Azrael, yeah. Those are Stan's quote unquote brothers. They're not brothers by blood, but those pretty much like his brothers.
Okay. Yeah. Right. So, and I loved every character's backstory of why they were how they were and what they had experienced. And so I enjoyed it. I really did truly enjoy it, although it wasn't my book of choice, like my genre of choice. I did enjoy Divine Rivals a lot more, which is also not what I would typically read. But I'm looking forward to the second one because I did hear that the second one is where it's at.
Yes.
That if you don't read anything, at least read the second book. That's what everybody's told me. Yes. So I've got to get to the second one. And then after the second one, I'll let you know if I'm heading towards the third and the fourth.
Okay. So since you like the drama stuff, the dad has an arc that you'll get to in the last book. Yeah. He has a dramatic arc. Like, because in the first book, you're kind of like, oh, he's like they describe him like as a chump. He's letting all these things happen to his daughters. He's letting the grief get to him. He's not being as proactive and a strong figure for them. And there's also an arc for Nesta. So Nesta, even though she's the oldest, she's not the one taking care of the family. It's been Farrah the whole time feeding them. Nesta's too caught up in her head, like, being like, oh, woe is me. Like, we went from being rich and then our dad, got caught up in something and lost all our money and now we're poor. And she's very resentful and she's caught up in that. She has an arc, but her emotional intelligence, like she eventually like moves through it. She they don't have like therapy per se, but like she's able to talk through all these things and transform into a different person by the end of the 5-book series. Because she's a bitch the whole time. But she's the one who ends up with Cassian. And Cassian. So they also refer to
spoiler alert there.
Yeah, these three as the Bat Boys. Cassian is the hot guy with the long hair, and he's more brolic. Azrael is more slim. He's the shadow guy, also very sexy. And we're hoping that the next book that she does is about him, because he has like some romantic drama going on too in the books. But yeah, I mean, so there are some like dramatic arcs with the characters, the same overlining theme. There's war coming with Hyperburn, like there's all these monsters, everything happening, and yeah. So what I recommend is you also highlight stuff. So I don't know if
the characters' names and the worlds and stuff like that, right?
Like I don't know if you guys could see, but
I see.
I highlight. So I listened to the books and I read them once already. So this is my the first hard copy that I owned of this book. So because it's mine now, the second time I read it, I was just like, oh, I'm gonna mark it up for all the stuff that I love. You know what I mean?
Oh, I love that. I
Mhm.
do love that. Okay, I'm gonna do that.
Yes.
And I was looking when I was researching her, because we're gonna be talking about her, that back in 2021, Hulu had a contract with her, and they were doing a whole series on her books, and
Yeah.
she was a big part of it. And then after, I don't know what happened.
I don't know
It
if
was
it's
in
all,
2000. It was in
it was
yeah,
recent.
2021, and then they dropped it. So I don't know what other network that's Disney owned, they're saying might pick it
Mm,
up.
maybe.
This is
I mean,
definitely not Disney material, but
it's not Disney material. Yeah,
mhm,
maybe like a Netflix, Hulu,
I
maybe
don't know.
Prime should pick
I'm
it up.
thinking that this would be great, like as an Apple show, or HBO. HBO
HBO.
Max would be like
Yeah.
ideal for this kind of book.
Yeah, because of it's very like House of the Dragon.
Yes.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
not as like war. So her book, so this is very romance heavy. So it's romance heavy in a very adventurous setting. Whereas
Right.
Throne of Glass, her other series, is more of the adventurous setting with a little bit of romance in there. So it's very much like badass female fighting, conquering, learning herself, and then the spice is trickled in there, so to say.
Okay. Oh,
Yeah.
that's great to know.
Yeah.
And so those are the books that those are the series that she has, 3 series, or does
Yes.
she have a handful?
Yeah, those are the 3 main series. I don't even know if there's other books. I guess look it
Ah,
up.
that'll work. Well, thank you. I know how much you love her, and it's
Yeah.
your love and passion that made me read the first one, so I appreciate it.
Okay. All right. So that's our episode for today for Books and
Yep.
Martinis. Make sure you check out Sarah J. Maas, A Court of Thorns and Roses, acotar. Like, share, follow, subscribe. Check us out online. Follow us on Instagram. All that good
And all
stuff.
that great stuff. Yeah. All right, guys. Well, have a great rest of your day. We'll talk to you later.
Bye.
Bye.